G'day gang, Rod back again. We'll call this part 3 of what is the gold dry blower sluice box, although it's probably going to be more of a shaker box if I have a good think about it. And I've had my mind on this for a couple of weeks now, and it's been fun building something. That's part of my fun. Going and getting the gold is good, but it's also fun to come up with the contraptions. And well, people have been building gold prospecting stuff for a long time now, and it's probably pretty hard to improve on the gold pan, but we try. And with that, apparently if I put that all together, I'll have an Algo Force metal detector with a Sadie nugget finder coil. But I haven't been in the mood for it, so it's just there. I'll do it soon. But let's get back to this. So whilst we're calling it the label of gold dry blower sluice box, it's more of a complete system, because over here we have the fan that I bought, which is adjustable in a few different angles, and give us a look if I can spin it. Yeah, and here you go here, and basically I can run it over the riffles, and bear with me, I'm doing this one-handed, and underneath if I want, as you can see. Although that's where I think this is going to change, because I think we're just going to, that's 120 mesh, and it's blow through and will hold the material, and the material will go forwards over it. But I don't really think I need to be blowing it from underneath, because the riffles are pretty good. They're nice and deep, to the point, if I go to my collection of junk over here, I'm sure that I kept the profile just for this, just for this video. So there's your riffles. It's like in a W, and put a right angle profile underneath there, and that's what supports it. And you can do a series of them, which I have done here. So as you can see, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, but angled up a bit, going upwards, because it's at the end of the of what I'm soon to call a shaker box after all that. So yeah, so alright, so we have that. We have the 18 volt Zito battery, and we bought the fan skin off AliExpress for somewhere around $32, I think. It works, but I'm not actually that wrapped in it. It works and it will do the job. And I don't think I'll spend any more money on that, because this whole idea is still being developed, and although you procrastinate about things and try to mould things over the best way, you still make mistakes, and hopefully you don't spend too much money doing it. Now I consider this one not to be a mistake. They were called food, just look, I've got some tomatoes over here that are actually under what would be that's a strainer with magnets attached to the side. I don't know if you can see the magnets. You can see there's a magnet there, and that was one of my classifying ideas. Now these guys are bigger, and there were 2 of them, and they were at Aldi's for $5 each. I've taken out the little plastic pin that was in the middle, but where are we? Over here. Give us a look. There's a hole around it. There it is. There's your hole, and I will be plugging that up with a bolt and a big washer and a bolt. But beyond that, this is really, really sturdy, and I decided for the $10 I could actually use this as part of my classifying system. So I've just seen another part of the system actually. So I've got here, which is a bucket I've bought from Proven's Hardware, not Bunnings, Proven's. And it's called the Queen. There it is, there actually, the Queen. It's a big bucket, and it holds a fair bit, but to my point of thinking, it's possibly not that strong, and it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit wobbly when you fill it up full of water, and a bit of a pain in the arse to move around. So it's actually a little bit too big. But a little bit of work to be done, and it'll be perfect for catching the dry material. I've got to bend these back out a bit, just so they don't hit the side of this guy. But I think you get the idea. and it's a pretty good fit. Maybe a little bit of tape around the end just so nothing escapes around, just down for the first 4 inches of that. But there's my classifying system. Into here, rub it into the mesh, and hey, we've got some fine material to go down here. So now, what I've kind of I forgot to mention at the start is we have a magnet. We have a series of magnets actually. They're in a sock, and as you can see here, and they go in the sock. There's no way I'll get this on. Wow, look at that, I did. And yeah, and they go in the sock. The sock will go over the material that is in here, or possibly material loaded up onto here, and we'll collect the heavies. That's the whole idea. Now, it's a lot easier to get material off a sock than what it is a magnet. So you pull the sock off and all the heavies will drop off, put the sock back on for the next part of it. Now, we get to this bit, which is the fun bit. I thought it was kind of a bit of a laugh that I found a real estate sign, and I don't know, it just had the arrow, and I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty quirky, we'll include that. I was looking for something light and flat just to put on that part of the surface. As I said, we have done mesh in other parts, and the idea wasn't bad, but you'd be better off with a bellows underneath it and a foot pedal to really get some air movement under there. So I don't think I'll be doing that again, and I may leave it on there until it gets ripped or broken, but don't know, we'll just see. So alright, so we've got a little bit of stuff happening up this end, and basically what we have is, I was moving this and I realised it agitates really well. And that little bit of wood that fell off serves a purpose. So I realised that it agitates quite well, and let's call it a shaker instead of maybe a dry blower. And I'm going to put this guy back in here because, as I said, it does serve a purpose. And the little pin's falling out. Murphy's Law says things will fall apart because I'm making a video. But yeah, this actually goes into that hole, goes through the wood, holds it in place. We'll put this guy back up here, and yeah, alright, well, you've seen my surprise. My surprise was to show you that little bit of wood in a minute or two, but turns out we're seeing it a bit earlier, and there's no way it's going to stay there. It'll slide down, so let it slide down, that's okay. So what we have here is, we have the handles, and basically we can rise the shaker box to send the material down. Just follow that arrow, and of course material will end up in the riffles. Then we will agitate to get the lighter stuff up the top. The heavier stuff will go down deeper into the riffles. Then we'll use the fan to blow it along. So that's all pretty cool. We can change the angle, and I might even point out this time, I did have legs, but it turned out it was stepping. It wasn't agitating well, so I ended up putting a crossbar down the bottom. I'll flip it over in a minute to show you. And also on the riffles we have like little placeholders to hold the mesh down, in between the riffles I should say, and that keeps the mesh, stops anything from going under it. Also at the end of each of the riffles we have a felt self-adhesive tape to stop anything from sliding out down the end. So we've nice blocked off both sides of the Sluice shaker box. I'll call it a dozen things before this video is done. So, and also what I kind of like about this is, it can't really come back any further. This is the angle. We've got a little stopper. So that disappears and you've got a stopper there. That can be improved upon, but it's there at the moment and it's working. And it really doesn't have to do much. There's not a heap of weight that's going to go on this, probably only a shovel or two at the very same time, and it'll most likely travel down pretty quick anyway because of the angle that we've got this on. And also because I can pick it up and improve the angle and send it down even quicker. And then agitate. I'm doing this one-handed, so with two hands you can imagine that would work pretty well. And the other fun little thing about this is, I think I'll get rid of this guy just for the short moment. The other fun thing I like about this is, you see this little handle here, which is good, it serves a purpose for putting the leg back under, but it also comes down and serves another purpose. It makes the sluice flat. So I can put the material in and I can put the fan over here and get it out in another format, I guess I'll call it, or another angle to be more precise. So if I decide I'm better off doing it flat rather than on the high angle, I can do that. And under here we've got a little gutter under there, and on this side we also have little gutters to stop anything from going over. And alright, now I'll get to this bit. The bit of wood, what's it all about, I wonder? Let's find out. Okay, good, it stayed in there. I'm going to move the queen, although I told him I think it's better off being called the big bastard bucket, because that's basically what it is. But it's good for my purposes, and if I can use stuff that I already own, even better. So now we're around having a look at it at this angle. So as I said, we have a gutter here. Now this bit of wood is actually designed to deflect as well. Things can get under there, things can get under there. And when we've got these riffles kind of filled with the heavies that we want, that have been taken out by the magnet, classified down there, then put into the riffles and the lighter stuff blown off, or even sent off via gravity, then we need to empty it. Now this is going to be a bit of a challenge, but bear with me. This is where that bit of wood comes into it, because I'm going to put the camera on a bit of an angle and hope that the angle is right. So, and I think it might be. So, what we do is, at this point, we take out the pin that was in the side, we remove the wood, and then we have the gold pan, we have a channel, and what we do is we flip it on its side and empty in to the gold pan. I'm pretty sure the camera would be picking that up. If not, I'll just come back a little bit. That's why this bit of wood is here. So you can just flip it up, shake it down into the gold pan. So all the heavies are now in the gold pan. And this guy here, he's okay. Put the bit of wood back in and the pin. We know that's going to fall out. And then we have the heavies, which will not be shaken, they will be tapped. And that will send the heavies into the miner's moss. I've got a couple of these. I can either empty it on the spot into another container, or I can just grab them and collect them, put them in a bag and process it when I get home. Still deciding that. Or I can dry pan. I can try my luck at dry panning, not shaking, but tapping. So basically what we have here is for the dry creeks. As I said, really, I've got that bloody algo force detector. But I think this guy here is going to be a bit of fun as well. And I think I might rebuild it later on. I'll use it once or twice. I'll rebuild it and I'll just get just a light material. This is called core flute. And I might just use core flute in between that instead of the mesh. Because, as I'll show you here, when we flip it over, there is a bit of work involved with the mesh. The mesh goes over the cross members, then wraps around what looks like a broom handle. It was purchased as round dowel wood, and then it comes onto here and